YouTube right now.
It's day one for these students at First Nations University of Canada. They're part of a course on journalism and broadcasting run by the Indigenous Communication Arts, or INCA, program. For Jada Bowden-Herney, it's a chance to come back to where her career started. She's a graduate of the program, and she helped create this week-long course. She believes media outlets need more Indigenous journalists.
They like to say that they have room for spaces for us, but then as soon as we show any signs of our past trauma that has happened to us, usually we're not met with open arms. We're kind of pushed aside.
A 2023 survey of around 6,000 journalists in Canada found around 5% identify as Indigenous. That's down from 6.4% in 2021. The number of Indigenous journalists in newsroom leadership roles has also dropped steadily since then. Bowden-Herney says more Indigenous-focused news outlets could be part of the solution.
You have more opportunities for Indigenous people, but you also have more room for them to be who they are without feeling like they are living in this colonial world that doesn't fit for them.
Hey everybody, my name is Carrie Benjo. I'm the editor-in-chief and co-owner of Eagle Feather News.
Carrie Benjo hopes these students can come work for her. A reporter for 2 decades, Benjo took over Eagle Feather News, an Indigenous-focused news outlet, in 2021. In February, the monthly paper went on hiatus after Meta's ban on Canadian news tanked its ad revenue. Now, after some financial restructuring, it's come back as a quarterly magazine. Benjo says advertisers and many nonprofits rely on the publication, and she and her team still wanted physical copies for readers without internet access.
We do know that our stories are still needed, the public still needs it, the community still needs it, so we're going to do our best to meet those needs.
As some papers make changes, others are just getting started. Dan Senek is the publisher of 2 weekly newspapers in the province. Now he's started a publication solely focused on Indigenous news. He's using reporters and editors at the other 2 papers and some freelancers to compile stories.
It's a profile of Saskatchewan Indigenous people, positive stories, so promoting what people have accomplished from those communities. These people will have then untold stories, and we're coming across them every day, so it's something we feel that should be shared with the readers of Saskatchewan.
About 10,000 copies of the publication are sent to Indigenous communities across the province each month. For now, the paper has no online presence, so it's not affected by Meta's ban. And its wide reach means advertisers are interested. All this is good news for the communities that rely on this kind of journalism, like in northern Saskatchewan. As chief of the Lac La Ronge Indian Band, Tammy Cook-Searson lives and works among these communities and people. She says they noticed when Eagle Feather went on hiatus.
It's nice to be able to tell our own history and our own from our own perspective. There are times where stories can get twisted or maybe misunderstood. So I think it's important for us to get our stories out there as an Indigenous community and also as Northerners.
So you guys filmed your promos, or are you guys about to?
We were just about to.
Just about to, yeah.
Back in class, this next generation of journalists is getting ready to record a podcast for an upcoming powwow. And Hannah Scott is making sure the audio levels are just right. She's not sure where her career will take her, but the third-year Inca student knows she wants to work with Indigenous communities. Scott also knows her involvement in Indigenous media can lead to reconciliation.
I didn't want to be, taking up space as a non-Indigenous person, but I knew that there was room for me to be there, to be a helper and to be someone as an ally and an advocate for, and, to help raise Indigenous voices instead of standing in the way of that.
For Jada Bowden-Herney, seeing that excitement in the students reminds her of when she was in their shoes.
We're throwing things at them and they're just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do an interview. I'll do a streeter. And they're just confident. Seeing that confidence in this generation just makes me so happy, because I just feel like the next generation, we're in good hands, I think.
Even with an uncertain media future, they'll work together to keep telling stories. Ethan Williams, CBC News, Regina.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so